Hello, Leos, and welcome to this, your April 15th through April 30th reading and predictions. How's everyone feeling? We have just come through some pretty powerful energies. Solar eclipse, comet screaming past our planet, Mercury in retrograde. How are you feeling? I know that the last couple of readings that I have done for the sign of Leo have also been really, really tough readings, including I don't know, death cards, tower cards, spiritual awakenings, and a shift in family and relationship dynamics for you guys, which is really hard. So I'd love to hear in the comments below how everyone is coping. Let's get started with your reading, but I have a small request before we get started, and that is please watch this video all the way through until the end. Two reasons for this. One, it's self-serving. I'm not yet monetized. I need some more hours. So if you wouldn't mind letting the video play all the way through, it would really, really help out the channel. And also at the very end of this reading, I'm going to be pulling cards that have nothing but yes, no answers on them. So if you do have a question at this time and you're willing to put your trust in the general reading and in the cards, we're going to pull those yes, no cards for you at the very end. All right, Leo, let's get started. Let's dive into where you are at now and what is going on for you now here in the middle of April. Right, we have the Five of Pentacles coming out. Five of Pentacles is a card of if you need some help, ask for help. If you need some guidance, don't be afraid to ask for guidance and assistance. Just going to pull this card out here and show it to you. All right, so this is the Five of Pentacles, and you'll notice that the characters down here on the card are um, they seem to be just coming in from a storm. Maybe they were trapped out in the snowstorm and they are coming in towards this house and they will ask for help, seek some shelter and assistance in there. So, yeah, Leo, if you're feeling like you're a little bit lost at this time, you're not really sure the direction that you're taking, by all means, ask for help, ask for assistance, ask for guidance. There is absolutely no shame in that. You have the Queen of Wands and you have the Chariot also coming out here in where you are at now. Queen of Wands is the queen of action. She is the queen who sits upon her pedestal with a black cat down at her feet, inviting us to tap into our intuitive side. Sorry. Um, and Yeah, she's the Queen of Wands is ruled by the element of fire. She takes action. But right beside her, we have the Chariot here, and the Chariot is about needing to make a decision. You'll notice up here at the top, we have a white arrow and we have a black arrow over here. And so this card is about needing to make a decision, about pick a direction and then go in that direction. So the Queen and the Chariot, the Queen of Wands and the Chariot being right next to each other, indicates that once again, Leo, you are at a crossroads at this time. You're needing to make a decision. But the Queen right next to the Chariot needing to make the decision, both the Chariot and the Queen are about taking quick, pronounced directional action. And you have them right next to each other. So, yeah, I do feel like you do need to make a decision about your direction, your next steps. And with this Five of Pentacles being here, there's a good chance that you're seeking out some advice or some direction externally before you make this decision about what direction to take. And then ultimately, you are likely to jump on your chariot, whatever form your chariot takes, whether that be the motorcycle, the chariot, um, a horse, whatever. And then you are going to take some action. Let's dive into that's interesting. I'm getting called to a deck with messages in it for what you are focusing on. So let's go there and see what this deck has for you. in what you are focusing on, what message it has for your focus. Normally, I pull this deck out for a little later on in your reading, but we will see. All right, so the first card that jumped out is Death is an Illusion. That's an interesting card for um, what you're focusing on, and Be Yourself is the other card for what you are focusing on. I'm going to pull a clarification card for Death as an Illusion for you here, Leo. But Death as an Illusion is a card that typically indicates it is time for us to let go of an aspect of ourselves from the past, a belief in who we thought we were, the mask that we are putting out into the world, and we're letting go of that so that we can move forward. And then again, having the Be Yourself card in what you're focusing on is about stepping up and stepping into more authenticity of who we are. I'm going to pull a clarification card for the Death as an Illusion. We're going to go back to the little itty bitty here. Death is an illusion. Could we please clarify death is an illusion? In the focus for Leo, one, maybe two cards here. Clarification, death is an illusion. Okay. All right, so we actually have two cards that came out for death is an illusion. We have the Ace of Wands here. Interesting. Ace of Wands coming up. So, and the Nine of Wands came up before the Ace of Wands. You have a lot of wands coming in here, Leo, indicating that as much as you've had a spiritual awakening, you've had an opportunity to sit back, go within, some intuition was called upon for in your last couple of readings. But now you have these wands coming out as well as the chariot coming out, indicating that now is the time for action. Now is the time to really begin to put yourself, the new self, out there. The Nine of Wands is a card of feeling like you are being challenged by something. And this card is not surprising to come out um, because, like I said, with this death as an illusion, chances are you're probably at that point where you're dropping the mask, you're being yourself. You are no longer walking around and pretending to be someone that you're not. And what happens when you begin to do that, and this is kind of a repeat of the theme of your last reading, which covered the time frame April 1st through the 15th, that family and friends may be challenging you and saying, who are you? You're all of a sudden this conspiracy theorist, or all of a sudden you've got your head in the clouds, or, people just are not willing to recognize you when you are being yourself. And, you've let go of the past. You've let go of a whole bunch recently, Leo. And so, yeah, you're being challenged a little bit with this death as an illusion. You taking the mask off, and people are like, who are you? I don't even recognize you anymore. That is part of the journey. And then you have the Ace of Wands here, and the Ace of Wands is about new beginnings. Again, it's the suit of wands ruled by the element of fire. Somebody lights a fire under your butt, you're probably going to move and begin to take some action. So the Ace of Wands is about new beginnings that you are taking action on. These are the things that you're focusing on for the latter half of April here. You are focusing on becoming yourself, dropping your mask, stepping up and stepping into who you are, and you are facing head on those who are challenging you in that regard. And you're saying, hey, look, I'm being authentic. Are you? Yeah. The next cards that I would typically pull for you would be your difficult influences and challenges. But do I really need to pull cards for difficult influences and challenges, given that it looks like you need to make a decision? You need to step up and step into who you truly are. You're asking for some advice, but yeah, I'm going to pull some cards in that regard as well. But let's just go through this deck. This is the deck that I was called towards. That card landed on the floor. So just a moment here, Leo, and I will pick it up. But the moon and your difficult influences. Yeah. So let me just get this first card off the floor for you, Leo. We'll see what we have here. The Hierophant. Yeah. Okay. Your reading just came together that much more. You're asking for help and asking for guidance as you've had this spiritual awakening. You have a decision to make. And the decision really is about you stepping out and stepping up and being yourself. That is going to create a new beginning for you and a new path and a new journey here with this ace. I don't know if that's coming into focus. Not really. I just try something with the lighting and see. Okay. No, the lighting's just all wrong for you to get a good view of that Ace of Wands. But in your difficult influences, you have two major arcana cards. You have the Hierophant and you have the Moon. The easier card for me to get into that will take less time is going to be the Moon. So let's do that one first. The Moon in your difficult influences reminds you that what you are going through is a stage or a phase. The moon is always phasing in, phasing out. There's a full moon, there's a new moon, and so on. So it does remind us of that. But the moon also calls us to pay attention to our intuition. We talked about that a moment ago. And the moon also asks us to pay attention to our dreams at this time. This is in your difficult influences, indicating you might not be paying attention to that still small voice. You may still be paying attention to the influences that are more 3D oriented at this time. What might that sound like? The news, the media, family and friends who are still buying into the 3D world and not recognizing that energy is what's important. And when we learn the secret that everything is energy and that we have the capacity to influence energy, everything starts to change and shift for us. And I do believe that you, Leo, have awakened to this, and this is what you are currently struggling with. Now, the other thing that's coming up is the Hierophant, and the Hierophant also brings a number of lies to light for us. The Hierophant is about the institutions and the beliefs of the institutions that brought us to where we are today. First institution that we bump into in our lives, of course, is our family and their belief systems. And immediately upon our birth, they begin to trickle down. Their belief systems are integrated into our physical 3D life. The next institution that we bump into, it could be society or it could be the religious institution that our family follows. Either or, the belief systems of, for example, certain societal belief systems are that women take a certain role or take on a certain role and men take on a different role. That is a societal belief system. And it doesn't matter whether you were born in Canada or the United States or Pakistan or Afghanistan or Australia or Europe. It doesn't matter where you were born. There are certain societal beliefs that are become integrated into our own belief systems when we are children. And then we move into education. That is another institution. Okay. So I could go on and on here, Leo, but I don't think it's necessary. The idea behind the Hierophant card is when we reach a certain age or phase in our lives. Yeah, phase, you've got the moon here. Okay. When we reach a certain age or stage, we begin to look at the belief systems of the institutions, society, religion, education, family, and we begin to question those belief systems. Do they still serve us? If they don't, there's probably a pretty good chance that we are dropping some masks, taking off those masks, and we're stepping up and stepping into being ourselves. And that it's at that point when, you know, society begins to question us. Are you in your right mind? What do you mean you don't believe in that anymore? And that's when we step into our power, that Ace of Wands, that new beginning. I really feel like this is the path and the journey that you are currently on, Leo, and you are recognizing that just because religion, for example, says that you need to be a certain way or act a certain way, if that is no longer resonating with your being, with every ounce of your being, with every atom in your body, if that no longer resonates and you are stepping outside of that box, there's a good chance that there's going to be pushback. So the Hierophant coming up in your difficult influences is indicating that you are changing, you are shifting, you are becoming this different person with your own set of belief systems. That doesn't mean that, just because, I don't know, take the 10 commandments, right? And one of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not kill. When you begin to question religion and look at their belief systems, chances are you're probably still going to adopt some of those belief systems, including thou shalt not kill, right? I'm not saying that we should drop everything, but exploring certain tenets of it. And this is the one I like to go down this particular rabbit hole. I don't know why. It's a big one and it's controversial. Um, but there are different, so in the vast majority of sects, sects, of Christianity, monogamy is the belief system that is put forward. It is the belief system that if you were raised under Christianity, you should be monogamous. Yes, there are certain sects that don't believe that. But if that doesn't resonate with you, so get married for life. That is another tenet of the vast majority of religions on the planet. Does that continue to resonate with you as you get older? You may say yes and have this resounding yes, absolutely, I believe that. Or you may be questioning it. And if you are questioning it, what does the future look like for you? Okay. I'm not saying that one is right and one is wrong. That is not what the Hierophant is about. It is not about your tarot reader or psychic telling you that one of them is right and one of them is wrong. The Hierophant allows you to open up to the questioning and then asks you to go deeply within your intuition. What sits right for you, Leo? That's the important thing. And making decisions from that place of your own belief systems. Let's move into messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. We've already heard that you're supposed to be being yourself. Being yourself means questioning everything. Okay, Leo? There's only one message from the universe right now. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Okay? When we have a spiritual awakening, when we do the deep work of the Hierophant, when our belief systems no longer align with that of certain members of our society or our family, we have to remember that the reason that we're doing the work of the Hierophant is because our purpose is to be ourselves. And in order to be ourselves, we can't be harsh on ourselves for having lived a life under the institution's belief systems because we didn't know any better until we have this awakening and we do the work of the Hierophant. So it's kind of this circle, Leo. So, how do you feel about that? Where are you at on this path in this journey? Let's take a look at what is unexpected for you. That one, that one. Yeah, I'm getting called over here to the tarot for your unexpected. What I'm really feeling is this is less about this sort of, I don't know, metaphysical spiritual awakening and more about you questioning certain belief systems under which you were raised and you coming into your own power as you question them. All right. So you do have the Page of Wands in your unexpected, and you have the Ace of Cups. Now, the Page of Wands is all of the pages, whenever they appear, are a little bit naive. They're also impulsive. And I want to point out that we have yet another wand. We have the Queen of Wands, we have the Nine of Wands, we have the Ace of Wands, and now we have the Page of Wands here. And the Page of Wands brings with him some impulsivity, this feeling like we need to go forward. And the Page of Wands also represents travel. So in your unexpected, Leo, there might be the opportunity to do some travel. We'll see. And also in your unexpected, you have the Ace of Cups. So this is your second ace in your reading. And the Ace of Cups represents a new beginning with regards to relationships. Not necessarily romantic relationships. It could be the new beginning of a relationship with a mentor, mentee type relationship. It could be a new business partnership coming in. Although the Ace of Pentacles is more about business than the Ace of Cups, but from time to time, the Ace of Cups can represent business partnerships, but definitely there is something coming in now, someone coming in unexpectedly, Leo, in the latter half of April for you to help you to understand what you are going through. I'm really feeling and sensing that this Ace of Cups here for you, Leo, is representing a person that's going to come in that has already experienced what you're currently going through with regards to breaking away from certain belief systems, stepping away from certain belief systems, and stepping into really, really embracing who they are. And I think that this Ace of Cups represents someone coming in that's going to help you and guide you and support you through the process. All right. Final general overall outcome. We're going here. And then we're going to pull your yes, no. Final general overall outcome for Leo, please. Okay. So we did have a group of cards jump out. Okay. So in the order in which the cards came out, you have the Tower. as the very first card in your general overall outcome. There are changes and shifts coming and happening for you, Leo, whether you see them coming or not, whether you want them to come down the pipes, there are changes and shifts that are happening for you. And there's not really any way to avoid it when the Tower card shows up. But what I can tell you is what the Tower does when it comes in a reading is it indicates that there is something fairly drastic that's going to change for us. But what that change is doing is it's making room and making space for us to be able to grow more and step up and step into new lessons, soul lessons, romance lessons, work lessons, any of these things. That's what the Tower is representing. You have the Seven of Swords in your final general overall outcome. The Seven of Swords represents someone in your midst who is um, not being as honest, or uh, they could be being deceitful. The Seven of Swords is a card also that can indicate gossip, potentially gossip going around about you. Now, here's the thing. I'm not sensing that what's being said is actually malicious gossip. The person who is spreading this, the person who this Seven of Swords represents, doesn't understand the awakening that you've had. They don't understand you stepping up and stepping into your power. They don't understand you finally being yourself and potentially letting go of certain old antiquated belief systems that no longer sit well for you. And so they're being critical, possibly the word that's coming to mind is in a catty way. Is that going to hurt you or harm you? No, not at all, Leo. Because with the awakening that you've had, you can now recognize that the reason they are acting the way that they are acting is because they are fearful. You're changing. They're still in the same place and they fear change. And their reaction to that fear is to be critical, to lash out. Recognize, Leo, that when that happens, this Tower energy comes in along with it, where there's a division that may happen with family and friends and so on. But what it's actually doing is opening you up to this Three of Wands. Again, you have the Wands here again. And the Three of Wands is about you heading out into the world and making a name for yourself out in the world. You basically, having found something that you're passionate about and going off. This card would be akin to in the 60s and 70s. A lot of university and college students, when they would finish university or college, they would take a long road trip to go out and find themselves, go out to Southeast Asia or go down to Mexico or just do a road trip across the US or go to Europe and do the Eurail train thing. Whatever that looks like, that's what this card represents. And so, Leo, this is how we're going to close off this very complex reading for you with this Three of Wands of you reaching that precipice of I've graduated, the whole world is my oyster, and I have an opportunity to step out into the world and go find myself. There you go, Leo. All right. Let's pull yes, no cards for you. Bring to mind your question. You may wish to close your eyes and ask the question several times in your mind. Also, if this video resonated deeply for you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It really does help me to continue to build and get these messages out to more people. And as always, If you are interested in a private consultation, my contact details are down below. Okay, Leo, a yes or no for Leo, please. One card flipped out for Leo. Just one card, please. I'm just going to mix it. There we go. Until a card flips out. All right. Leo, in response to your yes no question, your answer is choose a new direction. Choose a new direction. All right, Leo. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you.